Rainbow Poo. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Pixie again, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Pixie. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever you happen to be doing when watching this, hope you're doing fabulously and safely, taking care of yourself and your loved ones. And welcome to another awkward video, because it's been like a week. I'm so behind and unmotivated. So yeah, all we do here is awkward, and we talk about fashion and Disney and things. And tonight I was inspired by ELENI Alexis. She's a fellow Pixie. I'll link her down below. She inspired me to start this series, so I appreciate it so much. Like I said, she's a fellow Pixie. She goes by Pixxidust. She's super creative. She designs her own clothes, so she's been doing this series of things that she's made in her wardrobe. So I'm going to jump on that bandwagon because we're on a no buy, low buy, as I say a lot, and I'm just looking at my desk and how chaotic it is. I always start recording these way too late, but Panda is at work and it is almost 5 in the morning and I'm just feeling kind of not tired. So we're gonna get right into it. There's no rhyme or reason to this pile. I just pulled out some things I've made, either recently, worked on, tweaked, or kind of had in my closet already. So we'll just get right into it. They're not really themed. There's a lot of accessories. There's some skirts. There's some just random DIYs. Even if I didn't make it from scratch, I upcycled it, or like I said, added stuff to it. So the first thing, it's just a pile. There's just a pile of things. So maybe this will inspire you to tackle your sewing pile, or go thrifting and alter some clothes, or look at what you already have and maybe add some patches and beads and things to it. So I was going through my coats lately, even though it's warm in Florida, for reasons. There's a bunch of drama going on. And if you already know, you know why I started freaking out about my coats, even though it's been in the 80s and 90s in Florida. Anyways, that's for another video. That'll probably be a Wine Wednesday or a live ramble. But I took this cropped hoodie I've had forever in baby blue, and I added this cute little Winnie the Pooh, like rainbow fabric to it. It's almost like it was meant to be pillows or a quilt or something, because they're just these squares of varying designs. But it's so cute, and it's literally called Winnie the Pooh rainbow fabric or something. I have like the little Rainbow Pooh is what the bottom of the fabric said. I think I've thrifted this fabric, or I got it as like a leftover remnant at Walmart years ago, and I'm finally using it. But yeah, it's just this cute little furry hoodie from, oh, it's like really old Forever 21. And then on the front, I just added some buttons from my collection. I'm really prepared. So there's a Powerpuff Girls, a little UFO kitty, and a peace sign. And then I do this with a lot of my hoodies. I add beads to the strings, like the little drawstring things, and I'm thinking about adding beads to the hood. I do that a lot with some of my hoodies. So there's that, even though it's not cold in Florida, even though I say that as I'm wearing a sweater, but my body's just like, are you cold or are you hot? And I'm like, I don't know. And for another simple DIY, I took this Loot Crate patch on this tank top. It did have a crisscross across the neck, but I didn't feel like sewing it back, so I just cut it off, and then I added the Firefly patch to this little tie-dye tank top. I feel like the colors kind of went with the Firefly theme, like being like post-apocalyptic and like post-war. They're just darker muted colors throughout the series. So I've seen this patch on eBay. If you're a Firefly fan and you didn't get Loot Crate, you can still get this patch. But yeah, I just ironed it on a low temp until it stuck, and always be sure to like turn it inside out and iron it again, or if worse comes to worse. It feels like this one's on pretty good. I did a good job. A couple stitches won't hurt. But yeah, there's just another simple idea, is just patching something you already have to give it new life. And I remember these straps were like unraveling anyway, and I didn't feel like doing a new tubing, so I deliberately unraveled the other strap, and it kind of still gives it that like raw edge thing that we're going for with Firefly. If you haven't watched Firefly, just do it. If you're a huge sci-fi fan, you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's definitely up there on like the classics. The fandom was like really PO'd about like the ending, and they tried to like answer it with the movie, and fans still want to come back, so it's a huge fandom. If you know, you know. Brown coats forever. And then this one I made a long time ago. You're going to see some variations of these skirts, and I just called them like my scrap skirts, but I converted a pair of jeans a long time ago, and yeah, it's super short, but this is during like my raver heyday. And what I did was I converted the jeans into a skirt, which was like an old thing we did in the early 2000s when we were bored at home, and if your jeans got worn out, you just learned how to make it into a mini skirt. And then I took scraps of ribbon, like this whole like car wash effect almost, that's what it reminds me of, just random ribbons sewn onto the hem, and it's just a fun piece. And this one is actually an old American Girl's suspender. It's not really ribbon. If you remember, like American Girls came out with a catalog that had clothes, and my mom always bought me those clothes, so I upcycled a bunch of their stuff from those clothes. I still have like a yellow vinyl set somewhere in this closet, but that's just fun to me. And then these are really furry, so it looks like a cat laid on them, but I just took these old little girl tights from like the dollar store or something, and I cut them into arm warmers and made thumb holes. So you can do this with like any pair of tights, really, if you want to make sleeves. Like I said, they're covered in fur. But all you do is cut the feet off, put them on your arm, make a little thumb hole. And yeah, they curl a little bit. You can add holes or beads or safety pins or whatever, but it's just a cute little like edgy accessory. This with like a tank top and a mini skirt. Super cute. But yeah, literally cost next to nothing. Just a couple of snips and you're done. And then you just wear them on your arms. Easy. Super easy. Making your stuff is so much fun. It adds a little pizzazz to your wardrobe. It makes it totally unique and totally absolutely yours. And this is another one of those styles of skirts. I think this skirt was originally from like Kmart back in the day, but it was just a midi length skirt, and I cut slits in it, and then I sewed all this random fabric in between the slits. Just scrap fabric. It was a super cute, easy project. I mean, yeah, you can see the stitches, but you can also layer another skirt over it, or if you don't care about the stitches showing. But this is just really a fun way to upcycle a skirt to me, and to use a lot of that excess scrap fabric. You can do this in so many different ways and so many variations, and I've made so many of these. They're just so much fun. I keep saying so. We're gonna drink for that, because awkward video. Awesome. And I always make these random, well, I used to, I'm trying to get back into it, trying to get the motivation. I just make these random mini skirts with like remnant fabric or leftovers. So I make a casing like this, and then I just put elastic in it, and then I just do a contrasting fabric or a matching fabric, and then just have the bottom. And it's just a simple way to have a cute little mini skirt. I would usually wear this with tights underneath or boy shorts, because it is pretty short. You barely get a yard with remnants, like from Walmart or Hobby Lobby. I do believe Joann used to have remnants, if they don't still, or you can find small bundles of fabric or use old sheets at thrift stores as fabric. I have a whole collection of like vintage sheets just waiting to be sewn into something magical. So always look in your the bedding aisles of thrift stores, or even like the clearance like end cap of a major like a box store, and see what sheets are on sale, and you can use them as fabric. Or if you have to go from like a twin to a full, save your twin size sheets and use them as fabric as well, so that way you can upcycle something you already have if you decide to get like a bigger bed or something. Pillowcases work too. This is another random skirt. I was kind of mad the way I sewed this. I wasn't paying attention to the fabric layout, but I thrifted these Yu-Gi-Oh sheets and just whipped up this basic, and I say basic just because I didn't make a separate casing for it. I folded it over inside out, made an elastic casing, hemmed the bottom, and then we have a Yu-Gi-Oh skirt. But this is where I got mad at myself. I basically cut all the characters like full pictures off, but I still have this fabric somewhere, so I may revisit it. But then I like the fact that it says it's your move all over it, because big nerd moment, Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Sailor Moon. I was very Cartoon Network and Saturday morning cartoons in the 90s and 2000s, so there we are. That's just like an homage to my childhood and what I watched. But I was more into like the Sailor Moon, but Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon were up there too, kind of. Anyways, another kind of fun skirt you can do with like the jeans converted thing. I made this a long time ago, so I may revisit it because there's like a word on here that I don't think is very funny anymore, like edgy. But I just cut up some jeans and made another like car wash skirt, and obviously the slits are so high you'd have to wear something under it, like another skirt, tights, leggings, boy shorts. But then I just decorated it and studded it and put fabric paint on it and glitter, and that's the word we're gonna blur out until I can put a patch on it. I don't think that word is edgy or funny anymore. I was like 14 and I was stupid. So anyways, but you get the general idea. It's just cute for like concerts and just funky grunge styles. But like I said, you can add safety pins or glitter or studs to nearly anything. If you think something needs a facelift or a revisit in your wardrobe, instead of like throwing it away, just see what you can do with either the material or just like redesign it, stuff like that. I think it's really cool to do that, and like nobody else will have anything. Like when you make it, you know it's completely your own. It'll be like, where did you get that? And you get to say, I made that. And for some reason that just feels so good when you get a compliment like that, like I made it. Speaking of making, I also made these little rainbow tassel earrings. I do believe I wore them in one of my last videos. All I did was I took this rainbow silk cord, which is also called like paracord when people make those bracelets and such. I just got this on Amazon. It's a giant spool of it, but I cut it to the length I want, and then I purposely unravel it, and then I wrap it around jump rings, loop it through, and add little fish hooks. So it's just nice to have these long rainbow earrings, and it cost me nothing really, because I do believe, like, I'll link it down below. This was maybe $7.99 on Amazon, and there's a lot of yards here. It's all blurry. But you, like I said, I think it's called paracord now, but to me it was just like crafting cord back in the day before all the paracord stuff became trendy. But yeah, these earrings are so much fun. I mean, they're a little annoying trying to keep it together to make the tassels when you unravel it, but as long as you can fold it and loop it onto the jump ring, you're good. And they're almost like little hair extensions, so yay. And I've been styling my hair because I don't want to go for the chop, but I also don't want to end up in like the depressed ponytail for the rest of summer, since it's getting warmer here in Florida finally. I'm so bored with my hair. I don't know if it's the colors, if the colors are too dark, if it's just because my hair hasn't been trimmed since pre-COVID. I don't know what's wrong with me. So I decided to just start doing random hairstyles like these double braids wrapped around, and see if I can get out of my hair funk. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's been in a hair funk before, because I just am so bored with it. And even though I'm sick of it, when I DoorDash or something, people are like, oh my god, your hair looks so cool. And I'm like, thanks, I hate it here. But I'm always grateful when I do get a compliment, because it sounds genuine, but it's also like, I don't like my hair right now. Maybe it's the roots. Maybe it's just because it's a darker rainbow. It's not usually like my usual neon rainbow. I usually have like brighter colors, but because I couldn't get my blonde before I dyed it a couple months ago, like I had to go with these darker shades. Shut up, Sarah. Keep moving on. Anyways, this is one of my most recent DIYs, and I'm actually impressed with myself, if I can toot my own horn. Toot toot. I finished this one in 2 days. After I did that video of go through random clothes with me, because my client slash friend, Carrot, brought me 2 giant trash bags of clothes, I decided, like, yeah, we're gonna DIY one of the skirts I picked out. And this is the result. I made this, and I'm so proud of it. Again, there's that Yu-Gi-Oh! Popping back up. I used so much scrap fabric and so many like fat quarters and remnants to make this, and old t-shirts. Like that little key is so pretty, from one of my mom's old t-shirts. This is an old Delia shirt that said Fine Girl. This was an old Walmart shirt. I can't find the chick part, but it was literally like a little baby chicken with a spiked collar, and it said Rock Chick, so I thought that was cute. Then we have like this rainbow remnant, and we have Diego, and then I'm just so proud of this. I don't know why. It's just, it's so simple, but it was like putting together a puzzle. Then we have a little twink right there from Rainbow Bright, and a rainbow that says Dream. And then we have some skulls and some little space buddies, and I just thought this was so cute. It's a little bit thicker for Florida, but just this and like a cute crop top I think would be great for a concert. I may wear this to Earth Day birthday on Saturday. And oh yeah, I can't forget Tigger. I guess I'm on like a Winnie the Pooh kick because I've had this fabric forever as well. So Tigger has a special place on this skirt. And then I sewed, because I couldn't find a piece of fabric to randomly fit here, I took one of my unicorn patches and put him like right in the middle. So really cute, completely free. Stuff I had lying around. I already had the thread, the needles, inherited the skirt, and then I had those remnants and old t-shirts to cut up. So this next one is from my Dress Lily haul. This dress did not fit properly, so I converted it into a skirt. And instead of doing an elastic casing, because I was like, oh, it's black sheer and I don't have black elastic, I made it a drawstring skirt instead. But I just took the overskirt with this beautiful star print fabric. The dress was horribly made and super itchy, and it was, like I said, it was way too small. Those Dress Lily and like Wish type sizing, I didn't realize it was Chinese. It was my first and only like Dress Lily haul back in the day. If you remember that video, I'll probably put a card for shameless self-promotion. But so I made the usual, like what I would do for an elastic casing, and just sewed it all the way around. I left the raw edges because I didn't think it was going to look right hemming the bottom, because it's just a sheer skirt. I didn't do a lining, but instead I took one of these needles, which is actually dull, but it's just a big darning needle, but it looks like a giant hand sewing needle. And then you take like the edge of the ribbon and you just thread it like a regular needle, and then you feed it through. You can also do it with giant safety pins if you don't have a darning needle on hand. But this literally cost just the dress that didn't fit, and I already had the ribbon on hand, and it just looks cute over boy shorts or another skirt, what have you, or a slip. And look at the stars. It's just, oh, it's so cute. I'm so proud of that one. And speaking of stars and skirts, here's another one that I made a long time ago. This is like my 2006 type era. I'll hope. I may have to restring the elastic casing, but this one I kind of did like, I did the elastic casing with the, is it inside out? It's inside out. Oh my gosh, I'm a mess. Did the elastic casing so it's a little bit stretchy, and then I found this remnant at Walmart, but these stars are a little bit different. They're rainbow. So yeah, like I said, with the same one that I just talked about, you can wear boy shorts under this, or layer this over leggings or another skirt. It's just a cute little tutu number, and I thought it was so cute. And I felt like it deserved a moment on my YouTube, even though I made that in like 2006 or 2007 when I was finally learning how to actually sew on a machine instead of sloppily doing it by hand, which I still sew by hand. Like you just saw the stitches on that patchwork skirt. But this is another one I made back in 2006. It is this My Little Pony fabric right here, which was another Walmart remnant, I believe. And this is like generation 3, so it's way before Friendship is Magic. If you are a pony person, you know. But I love this little detail I did. I found this like vintage ribbon / bow sequin patch, like applique, at a thrift store. And then I layered these 3 pieces of lace, and then I did the rest in this pink lace, and I just, it's so cute. It's My Little Pony, so of course it has a special place in my heart. I can never get rid of this, even if it doesn't fit. But yeah, it's the, I want to say this is generation 2 or generation 3, and then there's FIM, our current My Little Pony, that brings us back to present. Okay, there's only a couple more things here. I'm sorry. But this is another skirt. Like I said, this is like one of my rag skirts that I call it, but these are just all like fabric, scrap fabric remnants. And when you wash it, sometimes the fabric shrinks a little bit, so then I just add more and more layers. It's actually pretty heavy, I like wearing these to Renaissance fair because they have so much detail, and they just end up looking great with a corset or even an underbust corset or a little like crop top like peasant shirt. And especially being in Florida in Renaissance fair, even though ours takes place in the fall in Central Florida, it's still hot and you're doing a lot of walking. So I don't really like, sometimes I do commit to like the long billowy Renaissance skirts and like the bustles and the petticoats and stuff, but some days I'll just wake up and throw this on and it still has enough interest without trying too hard. Like you can even see, like this is a tight remnant, and these are just fabric remnants from old pieces of shirts or fat quarters for quilting or just leftovers from old projects, and you can just add as many layers and make it as dancey as you want, because when you move, the skirt moves with you, especially when you add like these sequin fabrics. It's such a beautiful way to use all those tiny pieces of scrap fabric. They take forever to make, even if you sew them by machine, but you can see I did all these by hand. I usually wear like some kind of belt to hide the stitches, but they're just so fun to wear. And if you make one of these, I may do a tutorial. Let me know down below if you want to see a tutorial on how I make these. You know it's going to be exactly one of a kind, and you can tweak it, add fabric, change your mind, add a fringe to the bottom. You could do beads or something along the top, or a lace to hide the stitches if it bothers you. But these take forever, so get your favorite season going of your favorite show, get your drink, and get all of your scrap fabrics, because I just think these are a blast to make. And repeating yourself, Sarah, nobody's gonna have one like yours, and it's just so much fun to make. Finish, it's just a sense of accomplishment, and you just feel so good, and you get to wear it and with pride, and people are just like, how did you make that? And I'm like, a lot of time and a lot of TV episodes or a long movie. Watch Lord of the Rings while you make one. I don't know why I've been reverting back to my fandoms in this video, but here we are. Speaking of fandoms, this is one of my favorite skirts to wear at the parks. This is a very heavy cotton though, so I have to be very careful when I wear this to Hollywood Studios at Walt Disney World. Heartburn is so much fun. Go on, Sarah. But this is my Darth Vader skirt. It is my pride and joy to wear to Hollywood Studios, and I usually just pair it with like a black tank top and like my Death Star backpack or my Grogu backpack. But this fabric, I about died when I found it. It's Darth Vader, but it looks like he has little crossbones, almost like a piratey feeling. And I just did the typical casing, but I used extra fabric, so it's more like a circle skirt. The more you scrunch together, the more it flares out. So you can wear a petticoat underneath this or not. And this pattern is just gorgeous. So I just kept it simple. I didn't want to do any like crazy amount because the attention is in the pattern of the skirt itself. But it's one of my favorites. So get thyself to Hobby Lobby or Joann Fabrics and just look at their fabric, especially when they have sales. There's usually coupons and such. And it's just such a glorious moment when you find a great fabric like that. Like I said, like it hasn't faded and it's really heavy fabric. Like it's very good quality. It took me a while to make because I wanted it to be the perfect length. It's about knee length on me. And then I wanted it to be layered with the petticoat, like I said, but also you can wear it standalone without like all the heavy layers. And it's just cute. And the last thing I'm going to show you is another skirt as everything falls. I kind of took that scrap fabric route, but then I also did like a panel skirt, so I made sure like all the panels could be the same length. And literally this is one of my favorite pieces ever, and I don't wear it enough and I don't give myself enough credit. I do believe like this skirt is so much fun, and it was so much fun to put together to make sure like none of the same patterns were touching and I didn't have a repeat of fabric. I made this skirt. This is a fully paneled skirt made only with remnants or sheets. And what I did was I measured, like I just lined up all the fabric I could find that wanted to be a part, I wanted to be a part of this skirt, and it took me 3 months to finish this. I lined them all up, made sure they're all the same length, made the casing the same length all the way around individually, sewed each panel together, and then hemmed the bottom. It was pretty terrifying to finish on my own, but I kept giving up, but it is one of like my crowning moments where I'm like, I made this and it took forever. Like, I don't know if I could ever make this again. I may revisit it down the road, but it was just, I am tooting my own horn again because this is one of my favorite skirts ever. It's just really hard to wear because you have to wear like a solid top no matter what, because it's just so busy and there's no way to just like match one thing to it, and it's really hard to match the thread too, so I just stuck with like all black all the way around. You can see pink and rainbows and clouds and skulls, and it's just so much fun to wear. So if you want a tutorial on this skirt and how I made this one, that might be for a very long, like week-long editing down type video, because then I'll feel like pressured to finish it again in like such a short time to have the video for you. And okay, I'll show you one more thing because I want to know if you would like to see a video of just these. I like to make leg warmers or calf huggers or boot cover, whatever you want to call them. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I like to make these. I just call them leg warmers because all of mine are in different types of fabric. This one is an over the knee set I made with, yet again, another remnant I found at Walmart, but this rainbow tie-dye fleece, super warm, so would be great for like a winter concert in Florida when you're dancing, still sweating, but you are still getting cold even when you're dancing. I have so many pairs of these. I've made them faux fur. These are my only above the knee set, and I was going to make a matching skirt with them, but I ran out of this glorious tie-dye fleece remnant, and I love the way they flared out, the way I did the pattern. And I just make all this stuff from scratch. I just eyeball it, measure it, make sure it's close enough to be the same, and sew it all together. Which I make sound easy, but I've been sewing since I was 13. So if you also just want basic sewing tutorials, let me know, because this year is about DIY and embracing what is already in my wardrobe instead of purchasing more things I don't need and accumulating more stuff. That's why my Shein haul is out of the way and probably my last one. The next videos I want to show some purses I've made, some jewelry I've made. I've been making earrings like crazy to the point where my fingers are calloused, my fingertips. I can't feel them right now because I've just been going crazy with the charms and the pliers and the jump hoops and the beads, and it's getting a lot. I'm finishing my patchwork hoodie, but that one's always going to be a work in progress because I wear that hoodie so much. If I run into another fabric scrap, I can just add it. It's like, that's like a collage I can wear, which I'll probably show in my next video. Like I said, if you want tutorial videos, please let me know down in the comments below. If you have gone through a hair crisis after a major life change, let me know if you went for the chop or if you went, like, kind of got over it, dyed your hair, got a tattoo, anything random. If you were going through some things and you just needed a change, like, I think a lot of us alt people end up doing something drastic when we have a huge life change, so I just want to know if it's just me. Anyways, I hope you're wearing whatever makes you happy. That's the whole point of this channel. If you look in the mirror when you wake up and you smile, you're on the right track, and if it's keeping people awake at night, it's their problem, not yours. And me and Panda will see you in the next one. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I love you so much. Bye. Awkward Pixie out. Love you. Bye. 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 Love you. Bye.